Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Cody.
I'm Louisa.
And welcome to the 5-year plan.
Can't wait to get into it with you.
And this is episode number 2.
Woo.
And we're very excited to have you here. We're very excited by this whole idea. Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
it's basically a 5-year plan. How would you describe it, Louisa?
Well, I think you sort of covered all bases when you said 5-year plan. I think there's not much more. There's no subtext really, is
No.
it? It's just 5-year plan.
Every week we'll have a different guest on and we're going to kind of ask them about their 5-year plan.
Yep.
And luckily for you, first 2 episodes, we're interviewing each other. Interviewing.
Interviewing. That's
Sounds like a bad word.
It does, but I mean the other options are like grilling,
Roasting.
roasting. I like roasting.
Okay.
Yeah. I do like roasting.
No, welcome, Louisa.
Thank you so much.
This is your turn.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Louisa is a good friend of mine. She's a stand-up comedian. How many years?
Ooh, coming into year 5.
Wow, yeah. She is an improviser. She's a good friend of mine, and she's the co-host of this very successful podcast that we just started.
Yeah, the success is actually overwhelming so far. Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
What have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? I have just come back from... No, I haven't. I just am trying to date when we're releasing this podcast. You know what? I've just been living my best life, Cody.
Yeah.
I've been having just a real good time.
Yeah.
I had breakfast with you this morning.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
That was good. I was a little bit nervous about having breakfast with you just before we record the podcast because I feel like I give off a lot of good energy within the first 30 minutes of meeting someone.
Yeah, I can tell you the exact minute it started going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably joking right now, but I genuinely was, I started having deep regrets as I was eating my bacon and eggs.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm like, you know what?
That's your
This
best
has been
fear.
really fun. And you had this thought as well?
Oh, I was no, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I felt like when we were talking about meeting for coffee first, I wanted to give you an out to make it like not because remember I said like 9:30 or 10 we'll meet,
Sure.
and then I was like, how about 9:45? And then you said I could even do 9:30, and I was like, yeah, all right.
When you sent an out, what did you think I was going to come and say, look, I don't want to do the podcast anymore?
A little bit. I was a bit scared. Do you always get that like you're about to be rejected feeling?
Yeah, but I genuinely did have second thoughts last week.
Really?
But I only because every time I talk to like friends about this podcast idea, the 5-year plan, I described it to them and they went, oh, so it's a business podcast, is it? I'm like, no. But I can see where they would have thought that.
Yeah, but it is going to be our business podcast because this is how we're taking off.
Yeah. And I prefaced it with, look, we're both stand-up comedians. It's going to be funny. People are going to be in stitches the whole way through this podcast.
Absolutely. Do you know what? In real time, I'm sort of realizing how people think about me and how they think about you because you were telling people about this podcast and they were
you
worried.
Just kept it to yourself?
No. I told lots of people about this podcast and they're like, a few of them were like, how lucky that you get to do it with Cody. That's so great.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah. So, I got a lot of, oh, that's great that Cody would do a podcast with you.
Who said that? I'll have to thank them.
Yeah. Well, one of them was my sister who's come and watched your show before
Nice.
and she's
What's her
a
name?
huge fan. Katie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Caitlin?
Caitlin, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always see you take her on.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. It's probably unhealthy. Actually, speaking of which, this is a bit of a tangent, but we were watching some like investigation show a while ago. It was like maybe SVU or something like that. And they said, oh, the sisters speak to each other for 15 minutes a day. That's very suspicious. My sister and I, we walk on the phone together each morning and spend at least an hour
That's cute.
on the phone. Yeah,
That's
we're
very
super
nice.
cute. But then we listened to the 15 minutes being suspicious and then thought like, and sometimes that hour phone call is followed by an afternoon walk as well.
That's funny. What do you talk about? I feel like I'd run out of things to say.
No, never have.
Is
It's
there
a real
any
issue.
ever quiet?
No.
Wow. Is she then? So you're the oldest in your family?
Yeah.
Is she the next?
She's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bit of a wild ride. We didn't really get along probably because we were too close in age, I think, when we were younger. But now, obsessed with each other.
Wow.
Talk all day.
Does she live in Brisbane?
No, she doesn't. So that's why we have to do virtual walks. But we did think that if people have got a problem with 15-minute phone call every day,
Yeah.
our
What
minimum
kind of psychopath
hour.
are you?
Yeah. Like, is this diagnosable?
Yeah.
Maybe. Could be.
So I spoke to you last week about my 5-year plan.
Yeah, that was fascinating. How are you going with it so far?
Good.
Any updates for the listeners?
No updates yet, but I'm working on some stuff.
Yeah. I can see some things are brewing.
But I just remembered I had this thought during the week about something that I always wanted to do long before I did comedy, and I thought I always wanted to do marketing for
Really?
commercials and things like that. I always thought that was, think I wanted to be funny and creative. And I
Yeah.
thought that that's the most profitable avenue to probably something I should have pursued, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you could still pursue it now.
But I'm pretty good. I think I've thought like this week of like, I feel like I could sell anything. Like, and I think like the technique that I would use is like, men want to be them, women want to be with them.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of going to reverse that and say men don't want to be them and women don't want to be with them. So you name an organization or a company and I'm going to give you a slogan for them.
Okay. All right.
Anything.
All right. First thing that pops into my head is my head's a bit empty. All right. No.
Guide dogs.
Oh, guide dogs. All right. Go for it. Yep.
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 Guide dogs. All right. This person doesn't donate money to the guide dogs. That's a bit of an ick. Yeah.
Yep.
This person doesn't donate money to the guide dogs. I think that's a bit of a red flag, actually.
Yep. Okay.
Red Cross Australian blood donation.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to do them next. This person doesn't donate blood.
Yep.
It's a bit of a ick.
Wow. I see a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Doesn't donate blood. I think that's a red flag.
Yeah. Good.
I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah. Wow. Marketing's really missed out that you haven't jumped into it. Should we stop what we're doing right now? And there'd be a marketing firm in Paddington for sure. We're currently podcasting at the Sit Down Comedy Club podcast studio.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us here. The lovely Alan got us sorted this morning. Yeah, okay.
So,
well, I feel like our time's limited now, knowing that you've got this skill ready to jump off.
anything else you'd like to share before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're here for today?
No, nothing on my mind at this stage. Yeah, we can just dive straight in.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What about-
ready.
I got one more thing.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
Resilience Project.
Oh, we've been talking about that.
How good is it?
So good.
It's been consuming my life right now.
Are we still allowed to talk good things about them, knowing that they have a podcast that is probably going to be
competing
our
against them.
huge competition? We're going to be neck and neck with the Resilience.
I think when they listen to our podcast, I'll go, you know what? They've got chemistry that we can't deny, and unfortunately, they'll probably stop their podcast.
Do you know what they'll immediately do too? Is look up if we've written any books.
Yeah.
Because we've read their books.
Have you written any books?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
What'd you write? About swimming?
No, I started writing it in grade 10.
Wow.
And basically, essentially, I don't think there's enough violence in kids' cartoons anymore.
I did. You know, you could have given me 100 guesses and I wouldn't have thought that would be your take.
So my book is called, maybe it will still happen for me.
Yeah, okay.
It's called The Coolabah Ninjas.
Okay.
And Blinky Bill meets the Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Yep.
I can't imagine a violent Blinky Bill. Although doesn't he carry like the bag on the stick? What's that called again? Was that Blinky Bill?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I took it to a friend of the podcast. We don't know. We don't have any friends. I don't have any friends.
Oh.
Gemma Bailey.
Oh, yeah. We can say friend of podcast. Yeah.
Great animator. I took it to her.
Yeah.
Thinking, this person might be able to help me get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
She laughed.
Laughed at the idea because it was so brilliant.
I had pictures and I'm not a very good drawer.
I need to see these.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll bring them on.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe it will take off. Maybe it will be bigger than any Australian cartoon.
Yeah. I can't believe that didn't come up in your 5-year plan last week because that seems like a moneymaker.
Every now and then I get it out just for a laugh.
Yeah.
The pictures, the storyline was not strong.
Wow.
It's all to do with like pollution in the seas and rainforest.
Oh, so topical. Did Sea Shepherd shut it down?
It was often the mutant kangaroo and koala and platypus with their weapons. They would stop the machinery or stop the whaling. And, it's very much based around environmental issues.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's get into it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. But wow, that was a ride I'm so glad we went on.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So
Hi.
tell us a little bit about yourself and what has sort of worked well for you in the past.
Sure.
Have you had 5-year plans in the past?
Yeah, I also, like yourself, I think of myself as a bit of a planner. And I think it's because as I'm planning something, I like reward myself for it before I've done it.
Nice.
But then I don't do it because I've already got the reward and I've got ADHD. I'm a dopamine addict. So once I've got that reward, well, then I'll go back to the couch eating chips.
What's an example of a reward for you?
Oh, just the feeling that I've done something, like
Yep.
checking something off. So sometimes I'll imagine like that I have done something really impressive like comedy, I reckon I spent about a year talking about how I was going to be a comedian to all my friends and family before I'd done one single show.
And you got the satisfaction out of that?
100%.
Yeah.
Do you know I even went part-time at work before
Nice.
I'd done a single show?
I like the confidence.
Yeah, and then I did comedy and realised it was really hard and begged to please go full-time again. But I was so like wrapped in my plan that
Yep.
this was happening and had rewarded myself.
Are you the type of person that will cross something off your to-do list before you've done it?
No, but I will write something I've already done on my to-do list so I can cross it off. I really need that.
That's very
I
funny.
need the reward
Yeah.
very badly.
That's so funny. End of the day, think, what did I do today? Write that on the list.
And if nothing's crossed off that I was meant to do, well, then I'll be like, sat on the couch, cross, check.
That's very funny.
Ate lunch, check. Yeah. I never missed that
Made
one.
lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Digested lunch. Whew. She stops at nothing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I think in terms of plans, I make big, like I have been a vision board person too. Like I'll get pictures of what I want my life vibe to look like
Nice.
and, you know, put it all up. And yeah, it's
How often do you
good.
update the vision board?
Oh,
Have you
look,
got one currently?
no, I haven't done it the last few
I love
years,
it.
but I
I
used to do
love
it
it.
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the what's not A4? What's
Oh,
the,
you do like a physical one? I just do it on the
I
computer.
bought it, but never got around.
Oh, good. And
My
but-
wife and I wanted to do one together, but
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
we're too similar,
a
and so
joint
nothing
vision
happened.
board. Wow.
So can you tell me, in some of your previous vision boards, what were some of the things that you had on them?
Oh, they would always be about like buying new nice furniture, like setting up what I wanted my life to look like. I feel like I'm a very visual person. So like I wanted a pretty car and I wanted like, you know, a beautiful modern furnished apartment somewhere. And then I'd buy I'd put all the clothes that I wanted to wear up there. You know, back in the day years ago when I worked. I've been walking this whole time.
Nice.
When I worked corporately, I'd always want to be like dressed in those Q dresses that were really expensive.
The
So I'd have,
businessy?
like, so I'd have heaps of pictures of those up everywhere, and then
Mostly material things?
mostly material things. Although sometimes I'd have pictures of like silhouettes having fun in the beach in the sun and stuff because
Nice.
I'm like, I want that in my
Yeah.
life. Yeah, they were very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was that at the time more friends or a partner?
No, it wasn't about either really. It was
Okay.
just about like spending my time doing fun stuff. It
Yeah.
was more just like how I was spending my time vision board.
Yeah,
too,
sure.
I think.
I
Yeah.
feel like you, a little bit off topic, but you have a lot of friends, I've noticed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
I do. I'm very lucky actually. I was in a surf club for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a group of 10 friends in particular, 10 girlfriends that we've just stayed in touch for a really long time. And it's lucky in that then we do have a bit of a renter crowd whenever we want to catch up. It's really nice.
That's
yeah.
so sick. And did
Yeah.
you go to school with any of them? Are you close to school friends still?
No. So, bit of a plot twist. I dropped out of school in start of grade 11.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I had glandular fever and chronic fatigue. So I actually, tapped out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
so
you
then,
still went on to uni and everything after that?
yeah, but it was a bit of a wild ride. So I slept for like 2 months straight.
Wow.
When I was the most unwell.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really figure out exactly what it was. So it just also seemed like I dropped out of school because I was
Yeah.
lazy. But then later
The
on.
chronic fatigue's the worst part of that.
Oh,
hey?
I know.
My
yeah.
brother had the same thing.
Yeah,
and he
it's
reckoned
awful.
that the chronic fatigue was worse than the glandular fever
Oh, yeah.
because he'd do something and then he'd have 3-day recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I didn't want the surf club was so important for me at that stage, so I'd still go to the surf club every weekend and then
Yeah.
couldn't go to school. Like I was
Yeah.
just absolutely wiped out from it. But I made my choice. I don't regret it.
That's pretty cool. So 10 friends. Yep.
Yeah.
And so you also would have made a lot of comedy friends. Have you got
Yeah.
another kind of group of friends that you...
Yeah, I think so. So I've got improv friends as well, comedy friends. And then I've often, because I'm so chatty, I make a lot of friends at work.
Very
too.
sociable.
Yeah.
We're the opposite. We're similar,
Really?
but we're different because
Yeah.
I think I've got 3 friends.
Really?
I think, yeah, that's very.
But you're very
strange.
well liked in the comedy community too. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's got
Actually,
a bad
comedy,
word to say.
I got a lot of
about
comedy
you.
friends.
Yeah.
but
so don't
sometimes
you
I
so
wonder if that doesn't count.
Nah, that totally counts.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, my friends are a lot lower too. Because I feel like the comedy friends are the ones you see all the time. Like I've got my good group of surf club girlfriends, but I reckon we see each other 3 times a year,
Yeah.
4 times maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we make a big deal on social media every time, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
for
Yeah.
the street cred, and it's working, obviously. If Cody thinks I got lots of friends,
Very popular.
So, yeah,
It's the only reason I wanted to. No.
you thought my friends would listen? They might. Who knows? Depends if they're sick of hearing from me or anything. But yeah, no, comedy friends are the ones we see the most, so I think they count
Okay.
a lot.
And in the past, so what has gone well for you? What hasn't worked for you?
Well, I actually think that a lot of things haven't gone to plan for me, like dropping out of school. Originally, I wanted to like be a paramedic or a nurse or something like in an emergency room, like kind of that fast-paced thing. But dropping out of school, you can't go and do that. Well, not without a lot of work. So I actually fell into HR and recruitment. I got an office job and did a Cert 3 in business, and then realised that I liked the look of like hiring and firing people. Don't know what that says about me as a person.
Did you watch The Apprenticeship?
No, I just was in the office and I would see the HR person seemed to have a lot of power.
Yeah,
and
wow.
I was like, oh, I want that power.
Yeah.
So then I worked out that if I did like a Cert 4 and then a diploma of business, I could get into uni. So that's what I did. And
That's
then
so cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you find uni easy?
No. Because I hadn't done grade 11 and 12 maths, things like statistics in business, I found so hard for the first year and then just got like scraped through the next year. But yeah, got through it.
Yeah.
But I was working the time while I was at uni as well, so that was pretty hard. But yeah, I feel like all that didn't really go to plan, but then it's been really good because I found that I was still at with my friends from school that did finish school. I didn't feel behind from them at all because we all had full-time jobs at the same time, making the same amount of money, but I had dropped out of school.
Yep.
But I'd been making money longer than they had.
Yeah,
so it kind
sure.
of just worked all right.
Yeah.
Whereas
The dynamics.
whereas funny, when I was leaving school, all my parents and my aunties and uncles would call me like on a rotation being like, you're making a bad choice, think about what you've done. And now all of them have been like, no, that was the right choice for you.
That's so funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such a frustrating thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you can see the line that you want to take and
Yeah.
no one else can.
Yeah, although I did have big regrets when all my friends went to schoolies and I didn't go because I had
Yeah.
a full-time job.
Yeah.
I was
What
like-
were you doing for work when you were studying uni? Or
So-
when they were still at school, rather?
Yeah, well, for the first 3 years I worked in an accounting firm as like a receptionist, team administrator kind of thing. And then I got a job in a recruitment firm just as a receptionist, I believe, to start off with. But very quickly they're like, oh, you're quite confident. We're going to teach you how to do recruitment. So this
Yeah,
is
nice.
before I'd thought about going to uni, or really thought about it. And they trained me up to be a recruiter. So then I was working in recruitment while I was at uni.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of that was like none of my plan. It kind of, I fell into all of that. And then I really like recruitment and
Is
HR.
recruitment, is it sometimes weird? Do you sometimes feel like the, what's it called, when you're the careers counsellor? Does it feel like that almost?
Yeah,
People
sometimes.
know what they want to do when they come to you and you have to,
Well,
well, you were headhunting people.
Yeah, for recruitment, I was mostly, I worked for an agency. So we would almost like headhunt businesses to try and get their recruitment work and then find people for them. So it was like constantly networking. It was a real networky job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that was fun. But then I did end up working in a university for a little while as a careers counsellor just because I had recruitment experience. So I'd run like mock assessment centres and mock interviews and teach people how to
Yeah.
do it. And that was before I did comedy.
It's so funny to me, the idea of, imagine a kid growing up and going, I want to be a careers counsellor.
Oh, I know.
Who has
Yeah.
that goal?
Yeah, yeah. But it's the things you fall into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
naturally good at.
Yeah. And I liked that. But I eventually left careers counselling because I thought like I haven't figured out my own career yet. And this is before I knew that I wanted to do comedy. But I was like, there's something more I want to do. And comedy ended up fixing that, filling that void for me, I think. But I felt like I can't be a careers counsellor when I don't feel like I've met my peak career yet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't stop most people though.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. Although shout out to all the incredible careers counsellors out there.
They're
Big
not.
fan. They might be listening.
No, they would listen to like Joe Rogan podcast. No.
Whoa, big call. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to make enemies this early on in our podcast
Yeah,
career.
Cody, I'm so happy to share my friends with you, but you're making it hard. I've got some career counsellor friends.
So, okay, so comedy's the goal at the moment?
Yeah, comedy is the goal at the moment. I'm loving it. I mean, I still work full time in sort of like recruitment HR.
Do you think you'd always like to have a little bit of non-comedy adjacent work?
I don't know. I think about this a lot, actually. I think from a how much I want to earn point of view, I probably will always have to do.
Sure.
Like, my dream would be like to consult every now and then as like do a bit of recruitment or HR consulting because I like structure and I like setting things up and all that kind of stuff, but have comedy be the main thing.
Yeah.
But,
That would be cool.
it's sort of similar to what you were saying last week. Not necessarily pure stand-up, but like writing on different shows and
Yep.
filming things and all that, like a bit of everything.
Do you think stand-up would be enough for you if that was, what took off for you? Do you think that would be enough, or do you think you would always want to be writing comedy?
I think I'd always want to be writing and doing that as well.
Podcasting. And
mostly also because I like to go to bed early, so I don't know if I'd be able to do stand-up as many nights a week as I'd need to.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of my friends say that actually, is that they're shocked that I'm doing stand-up because I'm always the first to leave a party.
Are you first one up in the morning normally?
Oh, yeah, I can be. Yeah, I do like to get up early. Yeah. But then after stand-up, I'm too tired.
Yeah. It is tough on the clock, the body clock.
Constantly toing and froing,
Yeah. And so what is your 5-year plan?
5-year plan. All right. I've had to have a think about this since, we're doing this podcast, so we should have a good one. So what I'm thinking is I would really like to have at least 50% of my income to come from comedy and sort of creative work that I really, really enjoy. Doesn't necessarily have to be a huge amount of money, but I just want to be spending 50% of my working time on fun
so
stuff.
50% of what your working time
Yes.
versus 50% of your income.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm going to go time.
Yeah.
50% of my
I feel
time.
like that's healthy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a fun way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, because as I get older, 34 now, I
35.
do. Wow, okay. Well, you've got more wisdom, so pull me up whenever I get this wrong. I do think that how you spend your time is most important.
Yeah.
If you're working towards something that you don't like doing, what's the point? 'Cause
Yeah.
time goes so fast now that you get older.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really enjoying, making comedy sketches at the moment.
Yes.
They're
We've made
silly.
a couple together. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It is fun. But sometimes you get caught up in I thought this was a really good video and I thought it would be popular, and it's not.
Yes.
And my wife last week reminded me that I'm enjoying it. So who cares?
That's some good wisdom from your wife.
Yeah.
Good work. Shout out to Rachel.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good advice. We'll have to get you on the pod.
Yeah, maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Although when I told her about this, she said, I absolutely do not have a 5-year plan.
But that's fine. We'll get it out of it. Yeah. I think both of us didn't really have a 5-year plan
That's
before
true.
we started this. But yes, my 5-year plan. I also, and maybe this isn't in 5-year plan terms, but I want to get better at emceeing, and not just comedy emceeing, but just general emceeing. Because I find myself, I get too distracted to MC and read notes at the same time. And that's a skill I really want to get better at.
In what context would you have to do the MCing and read notes? Is that?
When you've got a rough guide you need to follow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and
The
you've got
house
to
rules and who's coming up next.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah, but it's not like you're reading everything. You're kind of going, banter, MC, fun, jazz stuff, and then reading something. I need to get better at that format.
Yeah.
And that's my skill at the moment that I'm trying to.
Working on.
I'm working
Have
on.
you MC'd many gigs yet?
No, not really. One, I think.
Yeah. I feel like you've got a good energy for that.
Thank you. I've done a lot of MCing at work.
Yep.
As in, and also with Surf Lifesaving, I've MC'd a few of their dinners and
And you
stuff.
try and make them funny?
I don't think I've done any since I've been a comedian. But I did try to make them funny back then. But I was fresh and didn't know what I was talking about.
Is
Still
this
don't.
the annual Surf Club dinner?
I did
the
a few
awards?
of those. I think
Yep.
I did 4 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I should have known then that I needed a mic to feel joy. So that's a little skill that I'd like to get on the side, because I also think that would be a fun thing to do, not just MCing comedy shows, but being an MC for hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard from people that have been in the industry longer than me that MC is a great avenue to pursue for, I think generally people are more ready for MCing before they're ready for headlining spots.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
So a lot of people try and go down that route a lot sooner.
Yeah. I think the MCing skill kind of makes you ready for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do much MCing?
I do, but I'm not very good at it.
Oh, really?
I got a few coming up this week, so
okay.
hopefully they room
get
runners
down
don't
and
hear.
Find out for yourself.
Myself. But yeah, no, I don't know if I've got the energy.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I need to spruik it up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, okay.
You want someone who's got a lot of fun energy, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You got fun energy. I don't think I've ever seen you MC, so I can't
Comment.
I can't comment, but I enjoy your set.
What else is in your 5-year plan?
All right. Well, 5-year plan. I actually have made some changes in the last few years that these are things that would have been big things in my 5-year plan, but they've already happened and I still want credit for them. So this is like my version of putting it on the list.
Nice, and crossing it off.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that in real time in front of you right now. So I'm I'm glad you're enjoying this. I had a whole lot of health goals that I wanted to meet, and I am in the process of doing those. I had a whole lot of weird symptoms, right, that I just couldn't figure out. I would get like stroke-like symptoms that like my face would go numb and all that kind of stuff. And for a long time, my health goals were like to figure out what that is. But I was going to appointments for ages and trying to figure it out. But over the last year, I've got all the diagnoses I need. Apparently it's a silent migraine. What it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of my health goals I have ticked off by getting all the diagnoses I need and getting all on the right medication. Haven't had a migraine since, which has been a real treat. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah, no, a lot of weird health stuff.
You talk a little bit about some health stuff in your comedy.
I do, yeah.
But I don't think the silent migraine have ever come up.
No, I haven't made a funny joke about that, but there is definitely funny jokes to be made about that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a missed opportunity.
Just a very passive-aggressive migraine.
Yeah, and do you know, because it always used to happen after I'd exercise.
Okay.
So it would always be like I'd do intense exercise and then I'd have like 20 minutes of feeling good and then it would like come on and it would be really weird because I'd forget the main word in every sentence and my face would droop and I'd get real sensitive to light. And I got rushed to hospital quite a few times thinking I was having a stroke because my
From the
arm,
exercise?
Yeah, my arm would go weak, but then they could never figure out what it was. It was always just like, oh, we've ruled out everything serious. So
and was it you that worked? No, it would have been someone that diagnosed you.
No, yeah, eventually it was a neurologist, but I've been to a few that were all just like, oh, no. Yeah,
I had a similar thing.
Oh, yeah?
I worked it out for myself, but I'm embarrassed with how long it took me to work out because I'm a swimming coach. If I forget to wear sunglasses in the sun and I squint a lot, I get headaches.
Stop it.
Took me 25 years to work that out.
But you figured it out. You should write a book about that. I reckon there's a lot of people that get that because the girl version of that as well is when you pull your hair back too tight and you don't know why you've got a headache.
And the stress,
Yeah. So I reckon you could add that in there.
Very interesting.
Do you reckon you would cure about 80% of headaches?
No, I think people are smart enough to work that out. I'm surprised no one told me. In my first 25 years of existence, hey, you should try wearing sunnies.
But was that because you were being a hero and not mentioning that you had a headache and just powering through?
No, I will tell anyone my issues.
Well, this is because we've spent a bit of time together and you've never told me you've had a headache, so you must be cured.
Yeah, no, I still want you to like me. So.
Although you did wear sunnies at breakfast this morning. Yeah. Inside.
So, God.
Yeah, so, okay. You really didn't want to have a headache.
I'm derailing your 5-year plan. So.
Oh, no, that's okay. What else have I got to tell you? 5-year plan. So, yeah, we ticked off all the health stuff that I've already achieved. Good. So 2030, we can tick that off again as well when we're talking. Appreciate
Maybe
that.
you'll have some new health things. Hopefully not.
Maybe. Yeah. I had this thing the other day where a doctor, we were talking about like whether, because I've got PCOS as well, polycystic ovarian syndrome, whether
this one I knew about.
Yeah, I do some jokes about that. Whether I need any surgery for that. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. And she goes, all right, cool. So we'll just have to stop all the medication that you're currently on. And I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Because it took me 10 years to figure out like what medication I needed and all that kind of stuff, like to not get the headaches and to.
Did they say how long you'd have to stop it before
surgery?
Yeah,
they said like 1 month before.
Oh, that just, I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm too happy with where I am right now.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, more ticks that we're writing down the problem for. Personal life. So I was diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago, and that was a real game changer for me because I used to be a real couldn't save money, all that kind of stuff. So again, I guess we're writing things down that we need to tick off.
Yep.
So personal, I'd like to keep getting better at looking after my own finances because I would see one ad and I would buy whatever that thing was.
Sure.
Whether I needed it or not.
And you think that might have been the ADHD?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I've
interesting.
noticed a huge difference. So I'd like to personally over the next 5 years keep because I didn't really build any financial security until about 2 years ago, I'd like to keep doing that and keep making smarter choices.
And
less
aside
impulsive.
from any possible ADHD medication, is there other financial things that you've been implementing that has helped you save?
Ooh. Well, I think I stick to plans now, which again is probably thanks to ADHD medication, if we're honest. That's the real. We're sponsored by dexamphetamines.
Never taken any.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a real treat. So I think I've always made the plans. I've made the budgets. I'm a freak in the sheets, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty good at Excel.
The spreadsheets?
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So I can make a budget, but I've never followed one until the last 2 years. So now I can do all that kind of stuff. My
Very
world's
cool.
really opened up. So, yeah, I think I'd like to. I just bought my first apartment. So I'd like to continue to pay that off.
Wow. Yeah. Geez, that's impressive.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I don't know if that's your salary or the ADHD medication. So you've been able to do that in 2 years.
Yes, but I did that thing where the government had like this first home buyer thing where you can have a smaller deposit and stuff.
Sure.
But I reckon pre-ADHD deposit, I would not have been able to do that. And to be fair, I moved into my mum's house for a year and a half, so I had to buy an apartment so that it wasn't like I was just moving home for no reason.
Thank you, Mum.
Yeah. Do you know, before I even decided I wanted to buy, I was using that as an excuse anyway. So I maybe accidentally manifested it. When people were like, oh, why are you moving home? And I'd say, oh, because life's going really well. And then they'd look too sad. And I thought that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
So then I'd be like, oh, I'm saving to buy.
So yeah, you could have afforded to move out, but you thought this is a funny joke.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I had to say to like make people feel better, oh, I'm saving to buy. And then eventually I just decided, oh, maybe I should.
You've picked a good time to buy in Brisbane.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I don't know anything about the property, but I have a feeling that the 2032 Olympics is going to have a positive effect on the housing market.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Do you know, sounds very impressive, Cody. That sounds like real facts.
I practiced in the mirror before I came in.
I actually overheard, yeah. That was good, yeah. It was, I'm strongly
Are you excited for the Olympics? You're into sports.
I am into sports, yeah. I do like watching the swimming. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
Because I think I was about to say you seem like someone who would volunteer at the Olympics.
Do I?
Is that rude to say? I think it's because...
Well, when I think about other people I know that have volunteered for stuff like that, I'm incredibly offended. And I don't know if our friendship will recover from that.
I think because you do the surf life saving.
Yeah.
I think...
Although not so much anymore.
There's a lot of selfish people in the world.
Yeah.
And then if you think about just Brisbane, you know, I reckon I might volunteer.
Really?
I donated blood the other day.
Did you?
Such a good feeling.
Was that the first time you've done that?
Nah, I did it for a long time.
Oh.
6 or more years ago. But I did it the other day.
You haven't told me that yet. That seems like a real good
I was
street
waiting
cred.
for the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Why would I tell you when no one's watching?
Yeah, so embarrassing, yeah. Wow, you're a hero.
So what else? So aside from volunteering for the 2032 Olympics, that's in your 10-year plan though.
Yeah, that's the 10-year plan, and we won't talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. Obviously, we've got to get the rights for that one. I don't know if I'll be living in Brisbane in the next 5 years. I would love to move to Melbourne or Sydney.
Nice, me too. It's not going to happen for me, but hopefully for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Sydney's expensive.
How are we going to do the podcast? Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom for sure. Or I'll just fly. Maybe we'll both be rich enough to fly up. You know, my sister and I, and I'm sorry I mention her a lot, obsessed, we always joke that our 10-year plan is to fly business class everywhere we need to go. To be so financially stable that we only fly business.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Even one business trip in the next 10 years would be incredible.
Yeah.
I think that would be sick.
Yeah, I actually looked up the price of business the other day and thought, oh, this isn't going to happen. And then do you ever get the emails when you book a like normal cheap flight being like bid to upgrade, and then you go in thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just upgrade, like I'll bid $1.
Yeah.
And the minimum's like $300.
Yes, this happened to me a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the best part is the Qantas Lounge or the Virgin Lounge.
Oh, see, I've never been a lounge member.
Apparently, no, but if you fly business, you can go into those lounges.
Oh, of course, yeah.
3 hours before your flight and just pig out on free food and alcohol, which you're not drinking at the moment.
No,
so.
I'm not. Yeah.
Orange juice. You can have a lot of orange juice.
Wow, hold me back. Yeah. Those are, I better call ahead to let them know the oranges better be juiced.
What else is on your 5-year plan?
I think that's pretty much it. So I want to be doing 50% comedy for my time, for my working time. Do you know what? And this feels like I'm copying yours, but I've always wanted to get back into running. Yep. And I always talk about this. But again, running used to trigger the migraine.
It's funny that we both used to be swimmers, but now we want to run.
Yeah, because there's only so many times you can look at that black line.
So, you hate swimming now?
Not that I hate it. I like swimming in the ocean. I don't like swimming in a pool anymore.
That's interesting. I mean, I hate swimming in both.
Yeah, okay.
But I like to catch waves at the beach.
Me too, yeah.
But I'm scared of sharks.
Oh, yeah.
You don't mind sharks?
I mean, like, not a huge fan. I mean, yes, I am. If they're listening, they certainly don't need to get one back on me. Huge shark fan.
So running related goals just for fitness, or you're thinking?
Yeah, just for fitness. But I also think because I did run for a little while, probably 15 years ago.
Like fun runs, like cross country?
Yeah, do that kind of stuff. Yep. I was, again, state level cross country, but again, from the Northern Territory, a bit easier to make the state team. Yeah. And I just feel like that was the fittest I've ever felt when I was regularly running.
Yeah, it is a good feeling, the endorphins, hey?
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about running. You get good bang for your buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't
And then
take
all
much.
there's a lot of cool comedians that go running. Like, imagine when I'm doing shows everywhere.
So you're doing it from a networking point of view.
Oh, absolutely. But can you imagine trying to network when you weren't like a good runner? Like if you wanted to go and join the cool comedians for a run,
Yes.
but then you couldn't keep up or talk. So
Yeah.
I'm like training to be able to talk while I run.
I feel like that's a good way of training, actually. I feel like, there's resistance training, running with weights on. I feel like you running and talking at the same time has got to be good for something.
I reckon that's actually mentioned in marathon training is to only run at a level where you can still talk. But for me, that would be walking. I reckon as soon as there was a little of a pep in my step,
Yeah.
immediately exhausted. Yeah.
This reminds me of a funny sketch that you and I filmed together.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah. Do you know I was a bit naughty the other day and someone was talking about a
I did see this.
Did you see I
The
posted?
Valentine's Day park run?
Yeah. Did you see
It's going to be hard to explain to the podcast listeners,
know.
but I found that very good.
Oh,
that
good.
you were promoting the sketch through the park run
Yep.
comment section.
Yep. I really capitalised. A friend from work sent it to me and I thought, well, there's an opportunity.
Yeah,
here.
nice.
Yeah. And do you know I got like 4 more followers from that?
Nice.
Yeah.
They
Welcome.
cancelled the event in the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did. But that's what I posted saying,
Yeah.
well, since you might have missed it, here's what it could have been like. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
we got to make more sketches ready for future comment sections.
Yeah.
Whatever we think
We
is going
just
to
cover
happen.
all bases.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Any kind of cancelled event, we need a sketch for it.
So, okay. So, I don't know how much time we've got left, but
Oh, I don't know if I started my didn't.
how much? So, what do you think you need to do in the next 5 years to help you achieve that 50% goal that you have?
Well, first of all, I was thinking about running. Probably need to put some shoes on. 50%. Yeah, I mean, do I need to do much else than start this podcast?
That's a good
Obviously,
point.
this is going to take off on its own.
Yeah. People will just be emailing you offering
Yeah.
paid spots
Oh, definitely.
all over Brisbane.
For sure. Yeah. I want to do more festivals too. So I'm hoping that doing more festivals will lead to good things or poor mental health. We'll see.
Have
See
you
which way
got
it goes.
any festivals lined
I
up?
do. Yes. The incredible Georgie Rowe and I are going to do Melbourne Comedy Festival this year.
Nice.
So we're very excited. We're going to be there in April. See you there.
I've actually seen the show
Oh, you did.
and it was freaking awesome.
Thank you so much, Cody. Cody was one of the incredible comedians that came to watch the show for us and give us feedback. And you had some great notes. I've implemented.
Thank you. We are
a lot
doing
of them.
I'm not involved. Louise is doing a Brisbane show this Sunday afternoon, but you will not be able to see it because this will not be released
Not by then.
anytime
No.
soon. My wife is actually coming
Is she?
and she's bringing a friend, Louise.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so touched about that. Excellent.
Yeah. How are ticket sales going?
Pretty good, I think. I think we're at about 30 sold.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm happy with that. Even
Cool.
if we just did it and sold no more, stoked. But I reckon there's a few people that said they're coming that haven't bought tickets yet. So,
Hopefully, we don't know when we're going to release these episodes, but if we have released a few before April and you have friends or family in Melbourne,
come check us out. It's
Yeah.
called Square Pegs. Only because we couldn't call the show. We loved the saying square peg in a round hole, but we couldn't call the show Round Holes. That wouldn't have worked.
they had a problem with that.
Well, I think both Georgie and I had a problem with
Yeah,
that. We
okay.
got standards. We didn't want to have our faces on a poster that said round holes. So square
Could've gone
pegs
with
it
the whole
is.
Missy Higgins kind of
Oh, yeah.
Scar theme song.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Anything else you'd like to plug? Where can people find you on social media?
Biggest thing's probably Instagram, Louisa Jones. Just my name. Lots of underscores in there, but if you just type in Louisa Jones, you'll find me.
Was
Yeah,
Louisa
I'll be
Jones
there.
already taken?
Yeah, it was. So I've gone
Okay.
Louisa _ Jones _ So it like looks like it's legit. but
That's
there's-
how I would have spelt it anyway.
Yeah.
2 underscores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, so you've got it sorted.
Well, thanks so much for being on the podcast today, Louisa.
Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to do it again with you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.